Steve. Appreciate that, and welcome to everyone else out there in the Freedom Union chat room. Great to see you all. Been a long day for me. I've been on the go since early this morning, and this is my last job. Welcome everyone that's here. Welcome Sue. Welcome Julesy, Wayne, Victoria, Eddington, Nicole, Lara, and Rocco. Many out there tonight, so welcome everyone. Tonight I'm going to condense matters and try and keep things short. Look, first up, just a brief report. This morning I conducted an interview with a great Australian alt media influencer out there, a guy called Aussie Cossack, Simeon Boykov, and Simeon is incarcerated involuntarily at the Russian consulate in Sydney because he's been set up on a two-tier policing, two-tier justice system, and they wanted to jail him again a second time for almost for zero. Almost for zero. But we had a great conversation today. For those out there who know Simeon and know that he's a great activist around Sydney and New South Wales in Australia. The ground covered in this morning's interview, folks, was can Australia be saved? We all of us share some very, very serious concerns about the state of our country. Both myself and Simeon share those very same concerns about the state of affairs here in Australia. I mean, we're in a hell of a mess here. We're in a hell of a mess. We have our sovereignty, which has been usurped and has been divvied up and passed out to international globalists out there, and these globalists have absolutely no nothing at all in terms of wanting to do anything for the people of this country. They're hell-bent on destroying it. And we're concerned about all of this. It's not just the political class either. I mean, the Anthony Albanese's and the Peter Duttons and all of the rest of them out there. It's not just them. They're all part of a global, what would you call it? A global crime syndicate. Okay, a global crime syndicate, and this global crime syndicate does not have the best interest of our nation and its people at heart. It's clear. It's very clear. I hold great faith that this country can be turned around very, very quickly, despite the hardships and despite the obstacles that are being put in our way. What you need to understand, folks, I mean, from me, I look at these world leaders that are out there, and there's not a lot that impresses me, but the two guys that do impress me are President Vladimir Putin from Russia and President Donald Trump from the USA. Both those guys, mate, are exceptional men, and I'm so glad that they here at this junction in history, else we may have been dabbling in World War III. That's how serious we were really heading into some dark places. These two guys are exceptional leaders, and both of these guys, in particular President Putin, he's one low-key person. I mean, he never over-promises and under-delivers. He does the opposite. He under-promises and over-delivers in spades. And President Putin was interviewed recently, and it was by RT or Indian, either Russian television or Indian television. And I actually watched the interview, and in that interview, Vladimir Putin made some extraordinary statements. I mean, he said that, what these elites in the West, he wasn't talking about you and me, folks. He was talking about the oligarchs. He was talking about all of the, those, super wealthy, elites that are out there. He said the vampire ball is over. The vampire ball is over. He said these people have a history of consuming human flesh and making billions and billions of dollars out of war and other people's misery. And he went and, again, very low key, didn't overplay that card, but man, oh man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Folks, the war that we've been engaged in with central bankers now for 100 years, since the United States Federal Reserve was signed over by President Wilson about 100 years ago, we are now seeing the central banks being brought down and finished off. They're over. The central banking Khazarian mafia's chief control tool, which is currency, money, the monetary system, right, is being taken off them. And that's been taken off them by and destroyed by Vladimir Putin and the BRICS country, the BRICS countries, who are now going into gold-backed currency to settle their international trade. But the spear in the heart is coming from Donald Trump. Donald Trump, through his executive orders, is also bringing the central banking system to a close. Ladies and gentlemen, I tend to look at everything with the Khazarian mafia and all their minions. I look at it from a systems point of view. They control us using control systems, okay? And right now I see these control systems being dismantled, okay? Being dismantled. And I say again, and I was interviewed a year or 18 months ago. I think Rick Bosey interviewed me ages ago on the Green Room, and I said, we'd won this war. The war's been won against the central bankers. They're finished. And 2 years later, after that interview, I'm more convinced than ever that the central bankers have been annihilated by our forces that are out there all over the world, not just Russia, not just America, but God-fearing people from all over the world have defeated these satanic forces. And I say again, folks, that the central banking control system is being brought down. It's going to be replaced. I'm not quite sure. I'm not in that exclusive club that gets debriefed on this stuff. But from what I can observe and the evidence that I've seen out there, it looks like it's going to be replaced with a quantum financial system of some description. And the timing and the details, I'm not quite sure. I don't think anyone is. But I think that's what's coming at us, okay? We are going to be looking at some sort of financial reset. I don't think it's far away. The existing central bank fiat currency system, the US dollar, Australian dollar, etc., is being spent into oblivion, okay? Just being spent like it's confetti. And the amount of debt now is just astronomical. It's never going to get paid back. I mean, my great-great-great-grandkids are going to be paying this debt back if this reset does not happen. But it is going to happen, and it's not going to be a Klaus Schwab reset. It's going to be a Donald Trump reset with the Vladimir Putin fingerprints all over it, And so I say that once these control systems, these monetary systems, the loss of control there and the reset there to a gold-backed currency and to an asset-backed currency, I think is you're going to see Australia respond very quickly, very in the positive, very quickly. This slave system, currency system that we got now, this fiat currency system suffocates us. And it chokes the life out of us, okay? An honest, decent currency system is going to just turn things around very, very, very quickly. The other thing I think is going to be energy. Okay, we all know that energy is used to suffocate us as well. Okay, the cost of electricity, the cost of fuel, the cost of heating, oils, and all of the energy sources are just unbearable to pay, and many people can't pay them. And so you're going to see all of this get wiped away. You're going to see new energy sources. I think from the evidence I've seen, we're going to be seeing the Patents Office release patented energy systems that have been locked away to keep them away from us, and they're going to be released to the world. So we are going to be looking at Nikola Tesla free energy and other sources of very, very cheap, if not free energy as well, including oil. And this country, Australia, is a big country, and energy costs are huge. So I think through a reset, a good currency system, and I think also energy costs, going through the floor, I think Australia, not only can be saved, but its economy can be turned around very, very quickly, very quickly. I've great hope for Australia, okay? And I say that because the central bankers have now been dealt with, and they are no longer a threat to Australia and to humanity. And I'm referring to the Khazarian mafia, commonly referred to as Khazarian mafia, and all of their toadies, right? All of their toadies and their little useless eaters that do their bidding. Okay, they're finished. They're finished. What we now have is the vultures that are, circling our nation here in Australia and in other parts of the world also. You have these oligarchs, and these oligarchs are looking for opportunities to further pick over the bones, if you like, or the leftovers of our respective countries that are out there, and to pick them clean, so that once again they come out, doing very, very well. And who are the oligarchs backed by, and who are they part of? The Freemasons. Okay, no secrets there. They're all Freemasons, I'll guarantee it. Okay, one way or the other, they're tied in with the Freemasons, and the Freemasons, after losing a lot of their control systems, they're going to be wanting them back, and they're going to want to rebuild them. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of a struggle for us, folks. Okay, the Freemasons and the Zionists and the Fabians and these secret societies, they're already out right now regrouping and getting ready to rebuild. They know there's going to be a military intervention at some stage, and they know that their utterly corrupt systems, are going to be taken off them. So they're recalibrating and reorganising to get their affairs in order, putting away their differences and regrouping, and they're going to want to rebuild. They're going to want to rebuild the same shit that we are, all of us are trying to take down, okay, and get rid of. So that's what's going to happen. These people only know one thing. They're born into these families, folks. They only know secret society lives. It's the only, in obscurity and in the shadows, it's the only way they can prosper and survive. And that's all they know. That's all they know. So if you go and take it off them, and they're only going to go back and rebuild the same stuff, those that don't end up going to jail for crimes they've committed, okay? So unless this union is out there, we need this union. Australia needs this union. I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own, shirt and suck on my own exhaust fans here, everyone. I'm not. I'm simply saying that when you weigh it all up here in this nation, and you look at what the nation faces, and you look at the treachery that's inside of our gates, and these secret society, we need this union to get this nation back on track, and to get this nation, rebuilding itself, instead of what we're doing now is we're destroying ourselves. We're destroying ourselves. I mean, this is unbelievable, the damage that's being done to this country and to its population. The damage that's being done is unbelievable. And we are, it's all self-inflicted. It's all self-inflicted, okay? And, we're to the point now where we have almost an entire nation out there that's been deeply and badly traumatized. I mean, it's very difficult for me to deal with ordinary people nowadays because they just get triggered. They go off over nothing. And it's trauma. It's unresolved trauma, undiagnosed trauma that they've been put through. So, we're very wounded at the moment. We're carrying a lot of injury, a lot of wounds. We've been brutalised. The country's been brutalised. And the nation's assets have been trashed, okay? It's been trashed. We are really not in a good position, ladies and gentlemen. But that does not mean that we can't snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, to do that, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that's needed, it's not the only thing here, one of the things that's needed is a decent trade union here in Australia that's ready to pick up the cudgels and take this fight on and to really represent the interests, the best interests of those that have joined the union, and that's what the Freedom Union is all about. Aussie Cossack, I've had some really deep and lengthy discussions with the Cossack about this union, and he now gets it. He now really understands how important the Freedom Union is in this equation, and that we're needed. We're needed. Again, we're not the only ingredient, but we are an essential ingredient that's needed to help this country turn around and to truly represent the best interests of the people that join our union. Okay, so yes, big changes are coming, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see our way of life change dramatically. All over the world, it's going to change dramatically. And that's because these changes are going to be because, one, all of these control systems are going to be ameliorated and destroyed. And we're no longer going to be living under these satanic slave systems like their monetary system and all the rest of it. And that's a big one. And two, we're going to see the ingredients needed, for to rebuild Australia and, the other countries around the world. You're going to see them come into play. New tech, new physics, new engineering, new science, you name it. All this stuff they've been hiding and keeping away from us for generation after generation. I mean, these people murder to keep secrets. They do. They murder other people to keep secrets. Okay, that's how seriously and how important keeping these secrets are. Okay, they're dangerous, very, very dangerous, these people. Okay. But their satanic global empire is being taken out, and the two key players in that, they're not the only ones, but they're two of the, and we're never going to be able to thank them enough, and that is the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and all of the Russian people who have sacrificed to defeat this satanic enemy. They've been fighting over in Russia for their country to get these vampires. Vladimir Putin's words, not mine, folks. Vampires, flesh-eating vampires, he called them, for him to defeat them and to get them out of his country. Okay, and he's been successful. Donald Trump. The same for America. The American people have got their leadership right, okay? For the first time, I haven't agreed with the Americans for many, many years over their presidents and leadership and policies and wars and everything else. I've been a fierce critic of America, but not now. Not now. They've got it right. And President Trump's the man for them. And congratulations, President Trump. on your return to public life. We need you. The world needs you. And please don't let these psychopaths start a third world war. I know that you're anti-war. And folks, so that you know, I mean, go to the freedomunion.org webpage. I have written a letter to President Trump. It was prior to him coming back in as president. I've also written to Ambassador Carolyn Kennedy, seeking a meeting to discuss with her and introduce the Freedom Union to her, because they're important players. Very, very important players. And I'm also hopeful, I don't know yet if I can arrange this, but I'm also hopeful if I can get an arrangement in place where a very small delegation from the Freedom Union of Australia will fly to Russia and meet with the foreign dignitaries over there, the appropriate people, to introduce ourselves and to also seek the support of the Russian government for the Freedom Union. Okay, you've got to remember, Russia chairs the United Nations Security Council at the moment. They're very, very important players. Okay, so there are a couple of things, and I'm hoping to tap into and lean on the Cossack Simeon. For advice and guidance and some direction, because Simeon obviously has some fantastic insights into Russia and her people and her way of life and her language and culture and everything else. So Simeon, who is a member of the Freedom Union, he was an early member, and I'll be contacting Simeon, talking to Simeon and getting his advice on a lot of this sort of stuff. Okay, we want the Freedom Union's charter. What we're obligated to do is to seek out and build good working relationships, and we want to do that with the Russian Federation, and we also want to do it with the United States and other nationals around the world. So, we are adopting a goodwill, posture, and we want to keep working on that. And in the same way, I'm hoping, if I can, I'm hoping to make contact. I don't know if I can, but I'm hoping to make contact with a beautiful young lass called the Syrian Girl, who is a social media influencer, and she's got 500,000 Twitter followers and so on and so on. I'm hoping to talk to her about the Palestinians and whether or not she would join the Freedom Union and advocate, in favour of the Freedom Union. So let's see. She's got a very, very big base. So Simeon, and so's our other comrade George Galloway, another great contributor in world affairs. George, you mightn't agree with every statement that George makes, but he is a fantastic contributor, and he's as genuine as they come. I have a lot of time for George Galloway, I can tell you that now. But his platform, his channel and his platform is now reaching millions of people. Okay, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to get some airtime with the Cossack on the Galloway platform. And at the same time, I'm grateful for the Cossack and other people's assistance in helping the Freedom Union slowly build its own social media channel and its platform across all of the platforms that are out there. We have a Freedom Union member called Steve O'Brien. Steve has volunteered to assist me in building this social media presence and footprint up across all of the platforms, and we're working together. Steve's doing the editing tonight, and he's chairing or doing the stuff in the background. And Steve has, in fact, just interviewed another Freedom Union member, a great guy from Western Australia with the name of Irish. He comes from Limerick in Ireland, but his nickname's Irish, and he's a member of the Freedom Union. And Steve's just interviewed him, and it was a great interview. Irish, our union members, just had, I don't know exact numbers, but I think it was $8,500 taken out of his bank account by the bank itself and loaded onto his mortgage, okay, and then paid to a council because Irish was in dispute, you know, the NSA, the National Strike, and all the council stuff. And Irish has been in dispute with them for about 3 or 4 years. Well, his bank just took $8,500 out of his bank account and put it and gave it to the council and loaded that same amount onto his mortgage payment. I mean, you can't believe this stuff. So keep your eyes open for that interview, folks out there. This is Steve's first trial at interview, and you know, Steve is learning as he goes through. There's things he's picking up. He's getting better and better at it. So cut him a bit of slack. You know, don't be too hard on him or Irish. Listen to the story. Listen to the story that he's trying to tell you. And this is where we're going, folks. Without this union, mate, they're going to be dipping straight into your bank accounts, and they're going to be enforcing, deducting all of this belligerent occupations, you know, economic warfare against us, and unless we get this union really fired up, okay? So can Australia be saved? I say yes, it can. It means we've got some tough times in front of us, absolutely, and we've got to make some sacrifices, absolutely, and we've got to fight for our country. Can we save it, and can we turn this country around? The answer is yes. And when we do, and when that happens, I want to tell you now, you're not going to get a better country in the world than this country here. With the population, the wealth, the lifestyle, and the assets and the endowment that this natural, beautiful country has, Australia, and so few that we need to share it with, according to the population size. We are going to have a wonderful, wonderful country at the end of this. It's well worth the fight, and I'm in it until we win it, folks. Okay. Other things we covered again, other ground with Simeon. And you know, he explained in length, you know, the trade that used to exist between Russia and Australia before all these embargoes. I mean, there was hundreds of millions of dollars in trade from Australia being sold to Russia before we cut our nose off to spite our face with these embargoes. Okay, now that's going to come back, folks. That's going to come back. We are going to get that trade back eventually, and we are going to need people like Simeon to help rebuild these relationships between Australia and Russia. We're going to need him. I'm telling you now. Those people that you know, try and belittle Simeon and treat him lightly, I think are going to get a rude shock with Simeon and the relationships and the reputation that he's built with the Russian government and the Russian people. Okay, Australia is going to need him to help rebuild this trade relationship with Russia. There was a whole bunch of things they were buying off us, lots of our wine, our uranium, and many other resources. That's all been trashed by these compete, you know, idiot psychopaths who are running around putting embargoes on Russia, which have only helped Russia. It hasn't hurt Russia in the least. So lots and lots of ground were covered, folks. Again, you know, I'm going to try to have a regular discussion with the Cossack on the No to NATO platform, which is part of the George Galloway network, and also interview Cossack and bring him over onto the Freedom Union channel as well. And perhaps open it up for some questions and trying to build that relationship. Like I said, Simeon is a early member of the Freedom Union. He saw it early and knew the value, and joined the Freedom Union as one of the foundation members. And Simeon is not only entitled, but I think he fully deserves the full effort of the Freedom Union to protect his interest at the moment, given that there is some very subtle prisoner exchange discussions going on. I'm not going to go into any of the details because I don't know them. Okay, I don't discuss this stuff with Simeon. It's of a personal nature, and I just make it well known to Simeon that as a member of the union, he's got our full support, as anyone would. Any union member out there would get this support. Okay, there's some very, very subtle discussions going on in the quiet behind the scenes with this prisoner exchange. There's lots of misinformation being levelled about who this guy is, and was he a teacher or was he in fact a soldier or whatever. I don't know any of those details. My focus is Simeon and his well-being, and if the union and myself can help Simeon achieve his freedom by way of going to Russia and being able to be free in Russia, then we're going to give him that support. And just because he goes to Russia doesn't mean we're going to lose him, because Simeon has made it clear that he will make himself available to be interviewed and still participate and promote the Freedom Union, even if he's in Moscow itself. It's not going to stop him. Okay, so even if he goes to Russia, we're not going to lose him. We're not going to lose him. Another matter that I just want to report on and bring to your attention is a protest truck. Okay, there's been some joint discussions between Simeon and his people, his crew of people, the Aussie Cossack crew, and the Freedom Union, and arising out of that those discussions, agreement was reached that we would purchase a protest truck with big signs, A-frame signs on the back and on each side, and one down the back, and so on and so on. And agreement was reached that we would do so. That truck has now been purchased. We call it the protest truck. It's going to be a activist truck to participate in protests and public events all around Australia. It's going to be badged or signed up with the Freedom Union, but there on other occasions, if there is anything Russian focused, and Simeon wants that, he's going to badge it up and use it for his purposes as well. But the Freedom Union has access, and Simeon's got access, and we're going to put this truck all over Australia, and it's going to attend public events and promotions and so on and so on. Folks, the Freedom Union has to get its name out there, and it's got to be, recognised and promoted. We're not going to get new members as it is. Already, I mean, it's hard work getting new members. Unions have a very bad reputation in Australia at the moment. They smell, they stink. They betrayed the country and they betrayed their membership base. And so having a new union with the word union in it, et cetera, is very hard to get through people's opposition. But slowly but surely, people have been joining. And we're getting enough funding and enough members in that we're making a good fist of it. But as usual, folks, we need more. We need more. Okay, if you're an existing union member out there of the Freedom Union, go out and recruit one more. Let's double our numbers by just recruiting one more person. Okay, if you're not a member of the Freedom Union, okay, please join. Go to our website, www.freedom-union.org, and go to the members join in and sign in. It's $200. Okay. You might not realise this, but this country and this nation right now needs this union. It does. It does. We're at an historical junction in Australia's history for the last couple of hundred years. This is a very, very important junction in Australia's history, and we have a lot of work to do to save this country, and we need a union that truly is going to do its job. All the other unions, as I explained to Simeon, are owned and controlled by outside forces, overseas forces. And that is George Soros, the Open Societies Foundation, funding and, embedded in most of the unions in this country. And there's a couple of the other unions, like the Shearers Union, the Australian Workers Union. They're owned and operated by the Freemasons, okay, and have been for over 100 years, the Freemasons, okay? So, the unions here in Australia, those unions that you might be familiar with, those unions that are registered with GovCorp, okay, are rotten. They're rotten, and they are not representing your interests, this country's interests, or the best interest of their membership. They're just not. They are all in the back pocket of the rich oligarchs, okay? And like I said, it's the oligarchs that we've got to keep our eyes on now, not the central bankers. The central bankers have been brought down, okay? Their central banking fiat country system has got almost no more life left in it, and it's going to be replaced, okay? But these oligarchs, they're like vultures. They're flying, really high. They've got a great view of the mess that's been left, and they're looking for opportunities to front run the rebuild. That's what they're looking for. They've got all their little toadies. They got their little, operatives out there in the freedom movement. They've got them everywhere, right? So we're fully infiltrated. Be aware of that. Watch who you follow. The thing is with Commo John is that I'm used to people not liking me. I'm used to people, being offended by me. I'm used to all that. None of that worries me, okay? But in this fight and in this union, folks, I come with clean hands. I don't come with any baggage, none whatsoever. I come to make a contribution and to serve the Australian people as best I can. And it's up to you whether or not you want to give me that opportunity in any numbers. That's your call. I'll accept the verdict. If there's not enough people out there that don't want this union to go ahead and so on, then so be it. So be it. I'm not building this for John Wilson. I'm not building it as in any fiefdom. I'm trying to, and the team is as well. We're trying to get this union up as given us a vehicle to defend ourselves against some pretty brutal and, unforgiving, tyranny that's been levelled against us. So, we need this union. We need it. And we've got a great team, great leadership, and you can trust the charter of this union. We say what we mean and we mean what we say. Okay. But protest truck is coming, folks. It still needs a little bit of, I've got to get some big signs on it and other stuff and registration and other stuff to sort out. I don't know how that's going to happen just yet. But, the Cossack and I are talking about that and just working on that, about who does what, who pays for what and all that sort of stuff. But the truck is being purchased. Okay. So we're now going to have a protest truck, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's push on through a couple of other things, folks. Just a little bit of housekeeping, folks. Union membership cards. Oh, aren't you sick and tired of hearing about these? Look, folks, we're having another round of problems with the membership cards. As I tried to explain before, we have card printing software and machinery and laptop here, and then we have the union's IT, right? We pay a lot of money, right? Tens of thousands of dollars, a lot of money for the IT and the customer relationship. That and this has to bolt together, come together, so we can print these cards coming out the other end. And we're having trouble, putting them together, bolting it together and making it work. Okay, look, we've done the best that we can up to date, and we know that we now know how to fix it. It's taken us a long while to get here, but we now know how to fix it and how to deal with it. And, that's going to occur. So for everyone out there, look, cards have been posted out. Most have got some have not. Some have gone to wrong addresses and other things, okay? Just be cool, folks. It's really stressing us out in the back end of the business trying to get it right, because we love you and we want it to go right, okay? And we don't like carrying the heat, but we are doing our level best to resolve these issues and to line them up so it becomes a seamless operation. The Freedom Union does not have a bureaucracy, and it's never going to have a bureaucracy. We just can't afford it, mate. We just cannot afford to operate like that. We have to automate and streamline as much as we can all of our processes so that we can still do the job that people expect of us without having to employ, a dozen people and have salary bills that we can't pay, and so on and so on. Folks, the Freedom Union is only weeks old. I think it's only 10 or 12 weeks old. Okay, it's not on its feet. This is the part of the journey that I said we're going to be vulnerable. It's trying to get the union up on its feet and iron out any of these inconsistencies, problems, budgets, everything else, right? And that takes work. It takes work. We have the team to deal with it. We need the time to deal with it, okay? And, we understand your frustrations and we understand your concerns about the card. It's a great card, guys. It really is. It's the artwork, the legals, everything, the thought that went into producing such that card was tremendous work. But we've got some machine issues there and we're going to try and iron them out. Okay, so bear with us. Okay, what else do we have out there that I need to report to you on, guys? The State of the Union addresses that I'm doing, I'm going to try every Friday night at 6 o'clock Queensland, 7 o'clock New South Wales. When daylight saving changes, it'll be 6 o'clock New South Wales or East Coast as usual. We'll all fall back into line. But I'm trying to gain, if you give us some feedback in the chat, if you think that this Friday night, State of the Union report is of value to you and you'd like me to continue with it. If it's supported, then I'll keep trying. I can't promise every single Friday night. Something may come up, but every Friday night, if it's well supported out there, then please go into our chat, let us know, and give me some feedback, and I'll keep providing these updates every Friday night at 6 p.m. Queensland and 7 p.m. New South Wales, Victoria. Okay, so let me know, guys. Non-union stuff, but broadly stuff, you can see that there is massive change coming, folks. You can see what's happening under President Trump in the US. You can see that the executive orders are raining down on the deep state in the US. They're just raining down on all matters, whether it's men participating in women's sports through to a whole bunch of other stuff out there. He's just canning the lot of it. And this is President Trump destroying these control systems, these fake satanic, control systems that are trying to, remove us from further and further away from Mother Nature and, what's real out there. And I'm saying, folks, get used to it. There's massive change coming all over the world. The way we live and in all countries is going to change. When free energy, when we remove the central banking system, when we get trade and everything adjusted, and a whole swag of other reversals of what the Khazarians and their deep state operatives were trying to force down our neck. All of that social engineering stuff, right, is all going to be undone and tossed in the bin. So, folks, we've got massive change coming that we've got to get used to and adjust our lives to, and we need this union in as part of that. Okay, we do. Social change, can be fraught with danger if it's not, well thought through, and the Freedom Union has a valuable contribution to make when this social change starts to unfold and start to roll out. We have a valuable contribution. We're not trying to control anything. We're not trying to superimpose ourselves over and top of anyone else, but we have a valuable contribution to its understanding and timing and how things can be done, right? Okay. And so I'm putting it to all Australians that you need the Freedom Union in on this equation. You need us, right? It's very important to have us in on the equation. We're not connected to any of the political parties and never will be. We're not standing for any parliament and never will be. I will never stand for any public position at all, ever, under any circumstances. None. None of the team, to the best of my knowledge, are interested in any way, shape or form. So we have no connections. Our only agenda and our only loyalty is to you. Okay, and we bring to the table lots of experience, folks. So, if you want us in the equation, if you want us in the mix, join this union. Join this union. You don't have to be a union fanatic. You don't have to be someone that believes in some wild, union, story at all. I'm just simply saying we're needed. We're going to be a good voice of reason, well thought out, a good voice of reason with a lot of very subtle strength that we can exercise and discharge in various ways. So please join us, okay, and support this union. That's it for tonight, folks. We've done about 45 minutes and we've covered a little bit of ground tonight because of my workload down doing protest truck work today and interviews with Aussie Cossack and so on. I haven't had a lot of time to go back and canvass a lot of other stuff that's out there, but I'll bring that to you next week. I want to reassure everyone that the war crimes are still being reported and logged with the International Criminal Court. They're still going. We're still logging and still pursuing and getting that. That's growing. Okay, the numbers of war crimes being lodged is growing, and the number of war criminals being lodged against is growing. Okay. Yes, people are still a little bit unsure about it, and they're still working their way through, but it's growing and it's getting there. I'd urge everyone out there, join the union. If you're having money demanded off you by debt collectors, councils, taxes, charges, any of this sort of stuff, then join the Freedom Union and let us help you. Let us help you. Okay. Extinguish these illegal debts. Okay. Illegal pursuits of money for no reason. Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Wilson. The time now was 6:48 Eastern Standard Time in Queensland, 7:48 if you're down in New South Wales and Victoria. I want to thank everyone for dropping in and listening to this podcast tonight. Keep your eyes open for Steve O'Brien and his great interview with Irish. Remember, don't flog him too much. This is his first interview, and it's a good interview too, and great subject matter. Keep your eyes open for that. We're just doing some editing to clean it up and stabilise the footage and that, and we're going to release that as well. Okay, Steve's doing doing the managing of the broadcast tonight here on Telegram. I want to pass on my thanks to Steve for doing that. I'm sure he's got better things to do on a Friday night than to sit down and help me do this sort of thing. So thank you, Steve. Thank you to everyone out there. Tune in next Friday night. I'll be back. And if anything comes up in the meantime, any other interviews with Cossack or any stuff, then I will bring it to your attention. Thank you, everyone. Good evening and good night. This is John Wilson for the Freedom Union of Australia. Thank you.
This ad's out.